Hello folks, game 2 between Azubu Supernova and Startale Life. Game 1 was an interesting cheese on cheese that unfortunately didn't work out for our Terran player that had no ability to defend against the one basing zerg. Really interesting, I haven't seen a good one base bust in quite a while. So we're back here with game 2 and let's see what Mr. Supernova can bring out of the bag. In the loading screen, I noticed that Startale Life has the exact same profile icon as I do, which obviously means that I am Startale Life. Welcome, everybody. No, that would be awesome, though. On this side, we're going to see if Mr. Supernova opts for another cheese. I was talking briefly at the end of that last game that I'm starting to see a lot more cheese out of Korean players. It's not a prejudice thing or anything of that nature. I think that they just are much more comfortable mixing in the cheese. The one thing I've been seeing a lot less of is the economic cheese. Zergs going for the really fast three, hatch before a pool. Terrans getting down 3 command centers on 1 barracks. Things that are just super economic cheese. And we can see that Startale Life is pretty concerned about some sort of proxy and therefore scouting. This is a good overlord path here to take for proxies. This is a really popular place for reapers. Down in this area is an also really good place behind these bushes that I find a lot. And right back in behind these mineral lines seem to be the most common areas you're going to get people cheesing you. Coming in here and seeing the barracks down is probably a bit of a relief. There is gas already being taken, so it's very likely that there's going to be a reaper follow-up to this. He's not going to be able to get that SCV before the barracks is finished. But you get a few pokes off regardless. Let's see if we're going to get that Reaper here. Getting the orbital, supply depot, Reaper. Overlord's going to start making their way around the bottom of the map. Something that I thought I would see more of, that only on really select occasions, is getting out 1 or 2 quick marines and then going overlord hunting. Particularly in a map like this where there isn't a ton of ability to hide your overlords. There's no ledges. I mean, you can get on top with one of your marines, keep on the low ground. Sniping off early overlords is a pain in the ass if you're a zerg player. We do have gas before pool. I think that's just to get out his speed to be able to deal with his reapers that he's almost certainly knows coming. He's got the money to be able to drop down the 2 queens immediately. While we're watching this, I'm going to have a little bit more beer. Well, my cat somewhere is making a ton of noise. It's probably eating something of mine that is valuable, and I'll have to go beat the hell out of her later. 1 Reaper hasn't got anything specific done. It did force an extractor for the time being. Looks like he's just jerking around a little bit. There isn't too much else he can really do. Is he going to be able to grab that guy now? Looks like he will actually. Whoa. Super slick. Great timing by Life there. Cancels it again. He has his queen out now that should be able to keep him fairly safe. Speed is about halfway done. Once speed is finished, your Reaper potential is pretty much gone. Which is why you very, very seldomly get more than just the 2 Reapers against the Zerg player. Is he going to get that? Oh, he does finally get that 1 drone. That's funny. It was all worth it in the end. This is a little bit more of economic cheese. Not only is it a fast 3rd command center, it's a fast 3rd low ground command center. Super ballsy. That was even down before the orbital was started. I like it. A lot of times you'll see them build it in their main because there isn't too much reason to build it on your expansion because you're not going to really saturate it that well. Putting it inside your main allows you to saturate up really quickly and at the same time feel pretty comfortable. Gets that bunker down just in time. It lets you feel pretty comfortable saturating up your bases, then moving it over here. It's not very likely that... Did Life see this go down? No, he did not. It's very unlikely that you're going to see this go down, which is why with this Overlord tucked over here, as soon as an SCV moves over, he's likely going to know that, yeah, there's going to be some sort of fast ninja 3rd base happening. Don't see anything. Yep, there he goes. He moved one ling over to that side. Looks like he is fairly suspicious that that is the case. Yeah, he sees that there's another base there, which is going to put him in a pretty tough spot because he hasn't even started a third hatch. So either he's going to have to go for some bigger pressure to deny that, or try to get his own third. And that looks like his choice right now is to go more of a macro, get up his own third base. This tank and those Reapers is going to keep him pretty safe. Other than a really impressive roach bust or something of that nature, there isn't too much cost-effective things that Life is going to be able to do to take this base. He can run it with a bunch of links, but he can lose a lot of them. Right now it's not that saturated, so it wouldn't do that much if he can just lift it up again. Units-wise, Zerg is ahead on workers. Spire tech is what I figured was going to happen at this point. The Terran player is very spread out across all these bases, which leaves them very open to just really good maneuvering of Mutalisks. Tanks like this can get picked off pretty easy. Couple of lings. Something that I remember learning earlier on from... That's a really aggressive place for a Spire. From other pro players is that if you've got units around doing nothing, you're not playing as good as you could be. So if you have the opportunity with some lings that are just sitting around, if they're not patrolling and defending, get them attacking rocks. If you've got an army that's just sitting around doing nothing, it's not being cost effective. You should be putting on pressure or forcing your opponent to be getting out more units. So that's why, if you've got the units, you shouldn't have idle units. Double expansion. Ooh. This looks like Life was a little bit delayed in going after that. I see a huge supply lead right now for Supernova. Yeah, those lings aren't going to do the job here. He's actually in a bit of trouble until these mutas pop out. Great positioning on the hellbats. He's going to lose a queen if he's not careful. Yeah, there it goes. And he actually lost some larva too. He's got no roaches out. He's got no hydras. He's got nothing he can deal with these things cost effectively until the mutas pop. The medivacs finally out of energy. What many kills we got? 14 kills. Picks it up. Nice boost. Is he going to be able to drop it? Oh man. That was actually pretty good. 17 total workers killed. I don't know if that was all just from this one drop, but that was a great drop. Tons of damage by Supernova. He's got almost a 30 supply lead. These mutas are out. There's a Thor on the way. Double missile turrets there. One there. One here. Second one down. These drops are really great. Even if your opponent has mutas, sometimes you panic and really want to get units out. But if you keep the pressure on them, you force those mutas to stay at home and defend, and it buys you the time to be able to get up the kind of defenses you need. These mutas are going to get almost nothing done at all for Life. This mix of Vikings is actually kind of cool. Just gives you that little bit of extra range against the mutas. And as you move across the map, maybe pick off a few overlords and give you that vision for the tanks. 5 factories and a starport. This is a pretty impressive setup from Supernova. I like it quite a bit. A bit of a supply block right now. He's going to have to catch that up pretty quick and make a few more. Let's take a look at the upgrades actually, because that is something I haven't seen. 1-1 and just 1 on that side. So upgrades wise, they're both pretty even. Not anything that crazy is happening. Looks like the mutas took a bit of damage from the Thors and the Vikings. Is there another command center on the way yet? Doesn't look that way. So it's more likely he's just going to build up a pretty big army, maybe get to 160, 170 supply, and then go out for a bigger push. Life is still way far behind. His tech is still on mutas. I mean, Roach Warren and Lair. I don't think it's really going to work out against all these Thors with +2 attack finishing up here pretty quick. He's getting melee upgrades, so his Roaches are really not going to be that super effective. And all of his Zerglings are going to get destroyed by these +2 upgrade Hellbats. He's at about 60 supply, so we see him pushing out now. I like the worker train. That's going to allow him to keep his units even more repaired at the front. He's gonna try to be a little cute with his mutas here, but that's really, really dangerous. You see how much damage those guys took with just a couple volleys. It's just these unupgraded mutas, well, +1 mutas. Banelings are the right call against those hellbats in the mass numbers. They do a ton of damage. Taking out the spire would be really, really valuable if you could do that as well. The medivacs and the SCVs doing repairs, it's going to be very effective. Life did manage to build up quite a bit of supply, but look at all the overlords that he had lost there. He finally has under supply cap because he's lost so many overlords. He's only building one right now too. He needs to build a bunch, but he's pretty starved right now, I'm sorry. Most of the hellbats are gone. Oh, there we go. He's picking up and dropping them so that way he can get all the individual units. I'm gonna pause for a second. Life did a smart move here. He tried to take out all of the hellbats in the front so that way his drones and his lings could help support. Supernova managed to pick up his last couple of hellbats and drop them into the back so that way they could kill off more of the light units, keeping the thors alive. As you can see, giant swarm of lings coming out. That's why these hellbats are so important. That was just a great game from Supernova. Just a confident build, getting out the tank. I don't think he even built more than that one tank. Then just moved straight into his hellbats, thors, medivacs on a huge economy. Life tried to go for an economic counter and build himself up in that way, but his tech and his army was so bad. The lings weren't going to do it. The roaches almost worked out, but his upgrades weren't there for them. And all of those mutas got shredded up by these +2 thors. Great game. Series is all tied up now, 1-1. Let's see who takes it in the next match.